And welcome to Cryptonaut Podcast. My name is Mark Storrs, and hanging out with me, as always, is
Rob Morphy.
Oh shit! And
me is Chris.
Oh, you is Chris.
Yeah,
we are Ken.
Oh, indeed.
That's in reference to the Barbie movie that I went to go see over the weekend with my kids, and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there it is. Very special episode, guys.
Okay.
We made it to 300.
Holy shit.
I believe you coined this phrase, our expedition in assholery. We are at number 300.
Hard to believe.
Not counting the 170 some odd episodes we have over at patreon.com/Cryptonaut Podcast, pushing the product in the beginning of the show.
Well played.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, you gotta.
Total, we got like a 400 something total, which is astonishing.
Yeah, but that's non-canonical.
Well, yeah, of course, dude.
Canonically speaking,
canon.
3 hundos, bitches.
Yeah, canon. But
this is a big deal pod.
Dude, it is. It's I'm super excited. I wanted to say up top, thank you so much to our listeners out there that tune in every week, that come to support us. It's awesome. Obviously, without listeners, we would not have a show. We would just be 3 guys talking to 2 people. So, and we're not. We're talking to all kinds of folks.
Already did that for 5 years.
yeah, sure shit did, boy. That was,
I was going to say, that's not exactly an unknown experience.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that was an exercise into getting up to what we are now. So yes, episode 300, and oh shit, now this is one that's kind of near and dear to my heart because Skinwalker Ranch is dope. Don't get me wrong, like I'm all about Skinwalker Ranch, but I mean, we're not for us to do a proper Skinwalker Ranch. Chris will have to depart the earth.
True.
He can't make it, and then I won't make it. And then what's going to happen when we're gone? It's going to be you in a tin can.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
we're going to be on iron lungs and wearing Depends if we wanted to get through the 11,000 part journey that would be Skinwalker Ranch.
And we don't have to.
And we don't have to because there's an even better place to visit.
And that is the Stardust Ranch.
Damn straight.
Oh shit! All right, Robert, you got a little intro here for us?
I do.
Let's see what you got.
This account is compiled from multiple interviews and the book Stardust Ranch, The Incredible True Story. There are, of course, discrepancies in the respective retellings of events, which we will address in detail during a later episode. But by combing through the various versions, I've endeavored to offer the most complete, comprehensive, and accurate interpretation of the Stardust story to date. One which includes elements that have largely and inexplicably been ignored by others covering this astonishing case. So without wasting another breath, Mr. Storrs.
We are talking Stardust Ranch Part 1, The Man Who Kills Monsters.
Yeah.
Take the supernatural antics surrounding Skinwalker Ranch, including UFOs, bizarre beasts, animal mutilations, poltergeist, and portals. Added to black-eyed doppelgangers, M.I.B, and alien factions caught in a turf war. Top it all off with a 70s samurai-sploitation cherry, and what do you get? The ultra-bizarre, yet unnervingly true case of the notorious Stardust Ranch. Welcome to the weirdest, wildest paranormal hotspot in the West.
I'm in. Guns are out.
Dude,
I'm in.
Dude, I need cowboy boots. I need a hat. I need a horse. I need
chaps.
I need chaps.
Spurs.
Assless chaps.
No, well, they're all assless.
Oh,
they
yeah.
are ass-full
Yeah.
chaps.
Yeah.
I really don't want to show my ass in the West.
That's fair.
Dude, I'll be there doing it for you. I'll lead the way. I'll lead the charge.
Okay.
So no jeans, all chaps.
All chaps,
Spurs for days.
boots, hats, couple guns.
When I was a kid,
leather vest.
leather vest.
and by a kid I mean like 14, my mom, for reasons I still can't fathom. You know, I had recently discovered Metallica and Slayer. I was just doing what I was doing, like drawing skulls on my jean jacket.
Yeah, sure.
Came home with a 10-gallon Cal Brown hat and a pair of fuck-sucking Spurs.
Dude, you should have incorporated it.
And I was like, I did? Oh, yeah. No, the Spurs ended up on my engineer boots for a while. But even that seemed to be like sub-ironic. Like it was going to a place that was too meta for the late 80s and certainly for me at the time.
Dude, you gotta put that big old 10-gallon hat on and slap like a creator patch on it or
The
something.
hat I
dude.
never found a place for.
Dude, put a feather in it, dude.
It's tough. Those
Yeah.
kind of hats,
I
man.
don't. I
You
bless
really
her
got to
heart.
mean it, but
It was so sweet. I'm like, I guess you don't know the path I'm on, but and the Spurs, I'm not sure. I mean, it's not. I mean, I've seen horses at a distance.
Right.
I wasn't going to ride one.
Okay.
God forbid.
I mean, in case you do, you're prepared.
but I had
just
Spurs.
trying to angle you out of metal and
Into country cowboydom.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But had I known, I could have used them on Stardust Ranch.
All right, man. Well, here it is. Let's do it.
There are a handful of cases wherein the high strangeness present at an event or series of events eclipse the already wild, wonderful, and often woolly world of the otherwise ordinary paranormal encounter. Cases such as the Casablanca entities, the El Zeta anomalies, or Womack's weirdos, episodes 3380 and 279 respectively, for anyone interested, deliver more than their fair share of twists and turns, as well as boatloads of bizarre beings and perplexing paranormal phenomenon. But in regards to contemporary cases involving enigmatic entities, alien abominations, and metaphysical mayhem, it's difficult to beat the semi-corporeal chaos revolving around a barren parcel of high desert known as Stardust Ranch. In 1996, within days of purchasing his dream home, an isolated 10-acre horse ranch set in the dead center of miles of desert scrub and ruddy Arizona sand known as Rainbow Valley, a psychiatric counselor named John Edmonds and his wife Joyce were beset by a series of odd occurrences which slowly but surely amplified until their lives were a maddening array of anomalous assaults from sources that can only be qualified as supernatural. It is all but impossible to neatly encapsulate the preternatural pummeling that was allegedly endured and dealt out by John and Joyce during their multi-decade tenure of owning and occupying the sturdy, spacious, single-story brick home which they christened Stardust Ranch. But like all great stories, to tell this one right, we need to begin well before the traumatic events in question. Though her name's always been available, and she has, with varying degrees of anonymity, spoken publicly about the incidents affecting her and her husband, Joyce has, by her own design, strived to remain in the background throughout this paranormal odyssey. As such, we will do our best to respect her privacy. John, however, has been an open book since the beginning. In his 2019 book, Stardust Ranch, The Incredible True Story, which he co-authored with writer Bruce McDonald in a format that Bruce described as deposition literature due to the fact that most of the words came directly from the counselor cum rancher during their hours of recorded Skype conversations, John described his upbringing on the south side of Evanston, a suburb of Chicago in Cook County, Illinois, where he was born in the late 50s, as one where he had to be constantly vigilant about the potential for sudden violence. In his books and various interviews, John paints a picture of a world wherein not being completely aware of one's surroundings invited the possibility of lethal danger, be it from street corner toughs, muggers, or even home invaders. He described one situation in the early 60s when air conditioners were uncommon, when he and his brother were forced to sleep with a window open to let in a cool breeze. A potential invitation to a burglar. John recalled sleeping with one eye open, listening for any unnatural noises that might indicate a potential intruder. Though he could not have known it at the time, this hyper-vigilant conditioning would be a skill set that would serve him well in the future against predators of a much less prosaic, though no less sinister nature. And I apologize in advance for my voice. I don't know why it's giving out, but rock hard in the weekend, you live hard on Monday.
300, baby.
300.
We finally broke Bobby's voice.
My voice is breaking.
It's okay.
Mark is going to be narrator by the time this is over.
It's okay. You got it.
Jesus Christ. All right. According to statements made during an interview on the December 9th, 2015 episode, that's 369, of Jimmy Church's Fade to Black program, John claimed that to make matters worse, he was not only living in this openly hostile environment, but also with parents who were constantly fighting. His mother was a woman of Cherokee descent who had been raised on a southern farm before moving to Chicago to become a secretary for a Standard Oil executive. That man, not surprisingly, turned out to be John's father, who was of European extraction and came from a wealthy family back east. Their marriage, though long-lasting, was tumultuous, leaving John to state, they got married and never agreed again.
Oh, back in the day when that's what marriage was.
They stay together for the kids.
There you go.
The one reprieve that John was offered from the tension, both in his home and on the streets, were the trips he took back to his maternal grandpa's farm. Wrote John, quote, there was a danger and violence all around me. The only rest I had from this was visiting my grandfather in rural Arkansas. He was a Cherokee Indian. He lived on a small farm in the woods. Somehow, this dichotomy of the tough Evanston neighborhood and my grandfather's farm in the woods instilled in me a great dream of one day living in nature. It would be the twin seeds of this dream and the ingrained instinct John had acquired for sensing danger that would literally grow into the roots onto which his adult life would be grounded. After running away from home at just 13, John beat around the Chicago area working various odd jobs. But it would be in 1973, after about a year of making it on his own, that this tough street kid would face his greatest obstacle. As he told Jimmy Church, "I had a really bad car accident, and I was literally just about killed, and I had a severe head injury. I had a skull fracture from ear to ear. I was in a coma for over 40 days. I had to go through learning how to walk again, talk, see, the whole works." So that's fucking traumatic.
Yeah, Jesus, dude. That's crazy.
With a new lease on life, John was even more determined to travel and make his mark on the world, getting involved in the music industry and eventually working as a rigger down in Florida for ExxonMobil. But when the domestic oil jobs started drying up in the early 80s, he realized that he did not want to work in the Middle East, so he returned to Chicago creating, with nothing more than a roll of quarters in his pocket, his own branch of Air Courier International at O'Hare International Airport. But as lucrative as this new venture turned out to be, John found that he still wasn't satisfied. It was then that he decided to make good on his dream of finishing college. In 1984, John sold his company, and in picking what he heard was a great party school, Arizona State University, he found himself southwest bound. It would be a decision that would lead him to one of his greatest joys, his wife, and what he deemed to be his greatest torment, his hellish tenure at Stardust Ranch. By the summer of 1993, John had graduated with a Master's of Social Work and was settled down and doing drug and alcohol counseling for the city of Phoenix. It was during one such session at a psychiatric treatment facility that he was attacked by a client. He received 2 broken vertebrae as a result of this violent outburst, and to put some turd frosting on what was already a shit cake, soon after, while getting a spinal tap at a local hospital, he was infected with MRSA, a type of staph bacteria highly resistant to antibiotics.
Oh, God. Good times at
Fucking
Stardust Ranch.
Spinal tap.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
story of fucking Job.
Yeah, Jesus.
After a series of surgeries, John, whose then girlfriend Joyce was now taking care of him, was sent home where he was stuck in a hospital bed in his apartment on a drip of custom antibiotics for 9 months.
Custom antibiotics?
Well, I guess just a cocktail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Chris, any experience with custom antibiotics?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Just checking. If anyone was going to do it, it'd be you. You have some special thing you made up and it fucking works for
Chris doesn't get anywhere near Stardust.
No.
That's a no-no.
Yet.
Yeah. It became so touch and go that at one point, John, who had lost over 100 pounds, was given his last rites. But even though he managed to recover from this second prolonged fight for his life, his trials and tribulations were far from over. Yeah, the Jobian Odyssey continues.
Okay.
As he told Jimmy Church, in 1993, my whole family died.
Jesus
Well,
Christ.
okay.
This is not hyperbole.
Okay. All right. Well,
Within a period of just 6 months, beginning while he was still bedbound, John lost both of his grandmothers as well as an aunt and uncle. In fact, although John had not spoken to either of his parents in 20 years and had only made contact at the insistence of Joyce, he no sooner had gotten out of his hospital bed than he was forced to go back to Evanston in order to take care of his dying parents, both of whom were succumbing to life-ending ailments in different hospitals and would tragically never see one another again. So he has to go back to Evanston, take care of dying parents he hasn't seen in 2 decades that he wasn't that tight with anyway because he ran away at 13.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And they don't even get to see each other as rough and ready as that relationship was.
When do the boils show up?
Oh, they're coming.
Okay, good. Just
Yeah.
making sure.
No, waiting for the biblical plagues.
Right.
Just set the timer on your watch.
All right, good, cool.
This would prove to be the final straw for John. After sustaining the injury that led to nearly a year of agonized immobilization, he was sick of dealing with the disturbed and often dangerous individuals whose steady stream of problems were starting to burn him out personally and professionally. Add to that the sudden loss of most of his living relatives, save his brother, and John knew it was time for a change. Life was too short to postpone his dreams for a tomorrow that may never come. He was now in his mid-30s, and if his aspiration of owning and operating a ranch was ever really going to come to fruition, it was literally now or never. Joyce, who like a saint, had cared for her husband through his harrowing incapacitation, was less enthused by John's abrupt epiphany. Having been raised on a farm in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, the one thing she'd promised herself when leaving the backwoods for the big city was that she would never, ever marry a farmer. Best laid plans.
And now he's a farmer.
When they'd begun dating, John talked about writing books and establishing a career in the media, but this series of emotional blows had left him struggling with grief and looking for a way out. And that way was to reclaim an ambition that he'd been harboring and saving for since his first newspaper route when he was an 8-year-old Illinois kid watching reruns of The Lone Ranger. He truly believed his love of animals would redeem him, and having inherited a modest sum of money from his parents, John took this as his cue to take the plunge, and Joyce reluctantly went along with the plan.
It's ranch time, baby. Let's get them spurs, get them hats, get them lassos. It's ranch time.
Dude, cactus juice.
Dude, bro. I mean, in the morning, delicious cactus juice. Oh,
Gotta get your cactus
it's gotta be
juice.
awful.
It's cowboy life.
It just gotta taste like bile. Just desert
lizards.
fucking desert puke. Ugh.
Desert puke.
Desert puke.
That's funny.
Yeah, all right, man.
For the better part of 3 years, the couple looked for property around Phoenix. It had to be both within their modest price range and close enough to the city so that Joyce could commute to her job as a clerk at the local FBI branch. She's working for the FBI.
Okay, that's fucking a big flag right there.
Finally, when John had all but abandoned his plans, the realtor called and said he might have just found the perfect place. It was located in what was then an underdeveloped region of Arizona known as Rainbow Valley, nestled in what was essentially a bowl made up by the Estrella Mountains, situated just outside the town of Buckeye. As of the 2020 census, the population of Buckeye was 91,502, up from nearly 51,000 in 2010. But back in 2000, the town boasted less than 7,000 souls. It was this very desolation that appealed to John, who on September 12th, 2020, on episode 63 of the Jibber Jabber podcast, told the co-hosts, there was nothing there. That was one of the reasons I liked it, that it was totally isolated. I mean, we were in the middle of probably 500,000 acres of wild desert. At the time, you could drive between 10 and 20 miles in any direction and never see another person, end quote. Add to this the fact that the commute time to Phoenix via the I-10, even with traffic, was less than an hour, and it seemed like a flawless fit. John and Joyce drove out to look at the L-shaped property in 1996. Within minutes of setting foot on the ranch, inspecting the spacious 2,500 square foot, beautifully furnished house, the large in-ground pool, the vast kennels, stables, and storage buildings, John knew that this was it. This was the land he had been praying for. This was his dream come true. In his book, John wrote, the realtor described it as the deal of a lifetime. The funny thing about wanting something really badly and then having it put right in front of you is that all your discernment goes away. You don't ask intelligent questions. But at that moment, John was convinced he was making the right decision. As he told Jimmy Church, I drove up to it, I looked at it, and I knew within about 2.5 minutes I was going to buy the place. It just reached out to me. It was like, this is it. It's got everything I want. It's away from everything, and yet my wife can still go into town. Perfect location, end quote. Joyce, however, was less convinced. From the moment she stepped onto the land that would soon be dubbed Stardust Ranch, she was flooded with negativity. It wasn't merely that she wasn't interested in living in the middle of nowhere, or even that she dreaded the commute, though both were true, but something even more fundamental. The ranch just felt wrong. She couldn't put her finger on exactly why, but she made it clear that she did not like the place. John wrote, right from the first visit, Joyce had a bad feeling about the place. I was blinded by my desire. My intuition had been muted by my excitement. It created a little tension in our fairly young marriage. Part of me thought she was trying to quash my dream. She was not the country bumpkin I was. I thought she was being selfish. She thought I was being selfish. Neither of us knew back then that it had nothing to do with selfishness or whose dream about how we would live would win out. Joyce's intuition was dead on. It always has been. I was too young and stupid to attend to that intuition back then, adding, I didn't know why Joyce was so adverse to the place. I didn't then. I do now. That's fucking foreboding.
Yeah, Jesus. That's fucking leaving it on a fucking cliff note there. I do know. God damn it.
Be that as it may, the papers were quickly drawn up and signed, and the realtor informed them that the family who lived there would have the place empty by move-in day. When he asked where they were, John was first told that the owners only used the place as a vacation home, then was later informed that it had been occupied by a couple who worked out at Luke Air Force Base, some 30 miles north of Rainbow Valley. Unconcerned with this apparent discrepancy, John was too excited about the life he was going to make away from the city where he could finally take a breath and relax, just as he had all those years ago on his grandpa's Arkansas farm. Less than a month later, John and Joyce had packed their belongings into a U-Haul rental truck and made the trek to their new home. John claimed that he had no sense of foreboding during the trip and that he felt nothing but optimism, writing, "I had this incredible lightness in me. I felt like a kid on Christmas morning." Beaming with pride, for the first time, John unlocked the heavy iron gates to his own ranch and drove down the long dirt lane to the house, never once suspecting the horrors to come. Upon opening the doors to the house, John was instantly irked. The house, which the realtor had promised would be empty on moving day, was still filled with the previous owner's leather furnishings, appliances, wall art, toiletries, clothing, everything. They'd given the agent a damn good commission and felt that this was not only unprofessional, but financially taxing, as they had only rented the moving truck for a day and the penalty for a late return cost more than the initial rental. John called the real estate agent, who apologized, telling him to go spend a few hours in town and that he would contact the last owners and work something out. Not wanting to let anything dampen his optimism, John did as asked, and he and his wife went to Buckeye, got a bite, and took in a matinee showing of the original Mission Impossible movie, which of course means it all happened because I can date that back to the accurate time.
Mr. Thank you, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's a movie, so it's real.
Yeah. I mean, it corresponds.
I mean, that is our science here on the Cryptonaut podcast.
Movie science.
We'll continue that with episode 300.
When they returned to the ranch some hours later and opened the door, they were pleasantly surprised to find the house completely empty as promised. The couple couldn't fathom how the previous owners had managed to do so thorough a job in just a short period of time, but they were delighted with the results. Getting a bit tired, the couple pulled a mattress out of the back of the U-Haul, carried it into the living room, and crashed out for a couple of hours of much-needed rest. And in the process, likely carnally christened the place, but of course that's pure speculation. Nap or not, after a few hours, John got up and decided to take a walk around the yard. But as he opened the back door, the new homeowner was utterly gobsmacked by the sight before him. The in-ground pool, empty just hours before, was now stuffed to the brim with all of the previous tenants' belongings. Couches, lamps, clothes, paintings, television, toaster, refrigerator, everything that had been inside the house was now haphazardly piled into the bone-dry concrete orifice.
What a terrible way to we got to hide shit. Put it in the pool. They'll never notice. Like, I'm going to go for a dip. Oh, is it a fridge? Like, what the fuck?
Must be just a reflection.
Yeah, I don't
It's an
know.
illusion.
Bobbing for blenders.
I wonder if they had to drain the pool, then put all this shit in there. I mean, you just make it harder on yourself. You'd be better off putting it outside. You throw it in a goddamn in-ground pool, you got to take all this shit back out again. This is not thought through.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's that.
Or it was a ghost.
Oh, and so episode 300, Mark catches on.
Continuing, a good sir.
John rushed in to wake Joyce. She joined him poolside, and the pair stared at what must have looked like a ridiculous modern art display, like rubberneckers at a car crash. They were perplexed. Who in their right mind would shove at least $10,000 worth of nearly new furniture and appliances into a pool? The only thing John could figure was that the realtor had hired some unreliable labor, that's a quote, to move the furniture, and instead of doing the task right, they decided to just chuck it all into the pool. But even this theory had its holes, as it would have been easier to take most of the heaviest contents out of the home through the front door and into a truck than to lug it through the house onto the back patio. It just didn't make any sense.
Doesn't have to, though. You know why? Because it's the Unreliable Laborers Union.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. A t-shirt we will not be releasing.
Yeah. Well, You know.
Yeah, you're right. You never know.
I mean,
Yeah, at this
You
point,
know.
you really don't know. Like,
we'll see.
We at least promise a new T-shirt every other episode.
Yes,
seems.
true. We do. We do have one coming up, though, but we're going to save that for later. So,
Indeed.
anyway, continuing, Robert.
John quickly called the realtor on his cell phone to ask him what the hell had happened. The broker apologized, claiming, according to John's book, that the original owner's phone number had been disconnected and he was unable to get a hold of them or anyone else. In other versions of these events, the realtor reportedly informed John that when the former residents arrived to claim their possessions, they found them in the pool and assumed that the new owners had done it in a fit of pique, and so they just abandoned the whole mess. Both versions, however, agree that the estate agent assured John that he had nothing to do with what had happened. Though, on the bright side, the agent added that John had inherited a lot of nice furniture and appliances for free.
It's in your fucking empty pool, dude.
yeah, they're all probably fucked up.
Yeah, they're all
They're
shot
busted.
now. You got to clean the leather if it's a thing. Get scratches out of it. Burrs.
Yeah, things are broken,
Yeah.
to be sure.
I mean, the fridge, fuck it. That's fine. Well, you don't know.
you don't know. I mean, was it chucked in or gently set?
Yeah, it depends on
Oh,
It
yeah.
depends.
I just assume it was chalked. Like, my mind sees it as chalked.
Yeah, no, my mind definitely sees it as just a shitbag
Just a
pile
Yeah,
of
me too.
crap, all shattered, broken, twisted.
Yeah.
But apparently a lot of it still worked.
I like how the previous owners were like, oh, they're pissed at us, so they threw all of our shit in the pool, but then don't say anything. They're just like,
And don't try to
"Ah."
reclaim it or don't try
Yeah.
to sue them.
Or be like, yeah, like, what the fuck are you doing?
This is,
Yeah, that's...
put a little pin in this,
Okay.
but this is one of the many discrepancies we get between various tellings.
Oh.
I'm not going to bring them all
Okay.
up. We will be dealing with that.
All right, discrepancies abound.
Indeed. Not amused, John barked that he already had his own fucking things and asked what he intended to do about it. Icily, the realtor replied, "John, it's not my problem. You paid in cash. It's your house, your problem."
Oh, shit. Slimy real estate agents.
Pre-Yelp real estate.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
man, this is pre-Zillow, dude.
At that moment, it hit John that he and his wife were truly alone on their little ranch in the middle of this parched, remote stretch of desert. From now on, he would have to take care of problems on his own. And knowing that the police were over half an hour away and still unsure who or what had filled his pool with an entire house full of stuff with ungodly speed, John, who claimed he was never a gun guy, decided to purchase a .357 Magnum.
Rootin' fucking tootin'.
Yeah.
Better get a big old 10-gallon hat to go with that 357, boy.
Don't forget the Spurs, kid.
Yeah, dude, get the Spurs. Dude, just turn into Yosemite Sam and just start blasting shit.
I mean, his mustache isn't far off.
It's
It's
true.
not as
Actually-
robust, but
actually,
I mean, John
I-
Edmonds has a great droopy.
I remember pictures of him. Yeah, he does have quite the Yosemite going on for him. All right, man. You got guns now.
In the days that followed, the frustrated homeowner would rent a winch and use it and a dolly to cart these still mostly functional items to the roadside to be claimed by whoever wanted them. In later years, he bemoaned the fact that he could have saved himself a lot of work and even more back pain if he just called a secondhand junk dealer and told him to pick up the items. With that weirdness behind him, John, who was still out of work on disability for the injuries he'd suffered, got to work fixing up the ranch. Invigorated by the fresh air and the wide open spaces without a neighbor in sight, John felt like a new man. Little could he have suspected that the strangeness in his life was just beginning. The following Monday, John was busy putting kitchenwares away when he happened to glance out the window and caught sight of a haggard figure slowly making his way up the 300-foot dirt driveway. John could make out an older man wearing dusty black military-issue boots, faded unwashed jeans, and a frayed army-style jacket with the sleeves cut off over a filthy t-shirt. The man's long, gray, greasy hair was parted in the middle, and he had at least a week's worth of salt and pepper beard speckled over his gaunt, leathery face. John got the impression that he was looking at a homeless veteran, one who was the right age to have served in the Vietnam conflict. But even though he took in the whole picture, John's focus was drawn to one specific aspect of this unwelcome guest: the well-used 24-inch machete that he was slowly swinging back and forth by a worn leather strap that was wrapped around the handle and attached to his hand. He later told the crew at Jibber Jabber how he felt in that moment. "I thought to myself, oh my God, here we go."
Dude, this is, you know what this is right here? This is 357 time.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is stand your ground because this fucking dude showing up with a machete. Oh man, this is not like welcome to the neighborhood. I got pizza.
Oh no,
I got some beers.
Yeah, this is not like chocolate chip cookie brownies.
No.
And a nice stack of plastic utensils or something to get you through the hump.
A bunt cake.
Yeah, casserole. Yeah, this
Classic.
Meat tray.
Now, if he had a casserole in one hand and a machete in the other, then you got to start wondering. All right, maybe I'll let him in.
Yeah, the machete. I mean, when Chop Top shows up at your fucking house,
basically,
to talk about like welcome to the neighborhood with a machete. Yeah, you gotta make some uncomfortable decisions,
some hard choices,
tough decisions on Stardust Ranch.
John had respect for veterans, and being a psychiatric professional, he had no desire to see a simple interaction escalate into violence. Nevertheless, this was his land and he felt the compulsion to protect it, and himself. He grabbed his .357, checked the safety, stuck it in the back of his pants, and walked out the front door to confront this intruder. The grizzled vet was about halfway down the dusty lane when he and John paused, about 10 feet between them. In his book, John wrote, "As I got closer to him, I could see an intensity in his eyes, something I had come to equate with the many psychotics I had met during my counseling practice. His teeth were in horrible condition, yellow and broken, marking him as someone who had lived rough for a while, years maybe," end quote. The silence hung heavy between the men, making John feel as if he were in one of the many westerns he'd loved as a kid, but this was no movie. Quote, "It made me tense up in a way I used to feel when I was walking around my neighborhood in Evanston, as though anything could happen, as though I had to be prepared for immediate and spontaneous violence," end quote. John broke the silence. "Can I help you?" The machete-wielding trespasser didn't say a word. He simply raised his rusty blade, pointing it over John's shoulder. Then, in a low guttural voice that I can't help but to imagine sounded like a chain-smoking Sam Elliott after a rock-gut bourbon bender, he said, "I live here." Let me do that again. "I live here. I live here."
Yeah.
How many ways can I do it?
All right, hold on. Wait a minute.
No, we'll keep it. Yeah. Oh, no, this stays.
Oh, okay. That wasn't an edit?
I live here.
Oh, Jesus. I punched in 4750. All right. Behind the scenes, episode 300, Mark times.
Oh, no.
All right, fine. I live here.
Yeah. Oh, that was the best one.
Yeah.
Oh, you do the man from now on.
All right. I live here.
All right. Oh, no, that was forced.
I live here.
Okay.
Okay.
It's less of a question.
It'll be a play. Let's go.
Okay. All right. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this goes.
Here we go.
I think we just diminished the power of this moment. Completely.
Yeah.
I think we diminished with Chris. He's just gonna die.
No, I'm in. I'm still in.
He's just slowly fading.
I want to see this play.
Okay.
So
This is a play for you. You are our audience. Okay.
I paid good money for this shit.
All right, here we go.
Perplexed, John glanced over his shoulder toward an old storage shack that stood some 50 yards from the main house. He'd inspected it upon arrival, and though the place was in disarray, he'd found no sign of a homeless squat and had no intentions of letting this blade-bearing stranger use it as such. Realizing this was a delicate situation, John explained that he'd recently purchased the property and asked him if he had an arrangement with the previous owners. With that, the wiry, wild-eyed figure cocked his head to the side and in a matter-of-fact tone said,
"I kill monsters.
I kill the monsters.
I kill." Hold on, Christopher. "I kill the monsters.
Oh, yeah.
I kill the monsters."
Oh, my God. Now do it in your best Bane.
"I kill the monsters."
I'm like, why did you ask
Oh, that sounded like a terrible Sean Connery.
"I kill the monsters."
Well, that's kind of
what Bane is. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, all right. So he says, "I kill the monsters."
Yes.
All right.
Okay. John's confusion must have been betrayed by his face as the gaunt man elaborated.
"I keep people safe from the monsters."
There you go.
"I keep people safe from the monsters,
okay.
brother."
All right, now it's it. That's why we don't do plays.
Why would monsters be at?
Yeah, they would expect a body. My arms are always like this, like the meme. You chose the rope. I didn't. Thank you.
There you go.
Good night.
Yeah.
I'll be here all week.
Thank you, Christopher, for our play. Yes, I keep people safe from monsters.
As a rational mid-90s man, John did not believe in monsters, but he was all too familiar with mental illness. He would later say on Jibber Jabber, "Me, coming from a psychiatric background, I'm a person who's kind of used to dealing with people that a lot of people refer to as nut jobs." So professional. And so I'm looking at this guy and I'm saying, wow, I wonder, is he off his meds or what? Understandably, John felt that allowing a machete-wielding would-be monster slayer stay on his ranch would be far more dangerous than any of the alleged creatures concocted in the old vet's addled brain. And he made it clear, his confidence no doubt bolstered by the .357 on his back, that he was no longer welcome on the property. After a long beat of tension-infused silence, the grizzled man offered a grim, rot-toothed grin and said,
"You're gonna regret that."
And then, without another word, the Machete Man, as he's come to be known in Stardust lore, simply turned around and walked off the ranch.
End scene.
So, our antics aside,
Nailed it.
that's some crazy ass shit to have happen to
Nobody
you.
wants that.
Well, yeah,
man.
especially when your nickname is the Machete Man.
Yeah.
It's not like, Dave or Jeff or Terry or Bobby. It's just Machete Man. And he's just, he shows up. He's like, "I'm here to do my job." "Oh, you know what? Oh, you're going to regret that." You kind of got to stop and dig a little bit deeper. Just be like, "Tell me a little bit more. Give me a little bit more info." PowerPoint. It was the 90s. PowerPoint was it a thing?
I don't know.
Could have been. PowerPoint presentation.
Maybe.
There you go. Flashcards. Interpretive dance. Drawings.
Ooh,
A puzzle.
a lot of methods.
Yeah,
you
there's
go.
a lot of things.
Anything. Just explain the shit.
Agreed.
All right.
John was glad that the situation had de-escalated without bloodshed, but as amused as he was at the thought of monsters lurking on his ranch, he was just as concerned that the man might someday return while his wife was alone on the property. He needn't have worried. Once banished, the old-timer was never seen or heard from again. But at that moment, John felt disheartened. As he told the Jibber Jabber guys, "I'm thinking in my mind, I've got this great horse ranch that I found in my price, and I was able to buy it, and I'm full of expectations and positive energy, and gradually my dream is being just sort of whittled away by all of these incidents." In the months and years that followed, the Machete Man's prophetic words would ring in John's ears. And though he made a concerted effort to track the vet down, none of the locals knew who he was talking about. The reason for this dedicated pursuit was the fact that, in short order, John came to understand that the old man was right. Monsters were real, and any help or answers that the old-timer might have provided vanished with him. After his exchange with the anonymous monster hunter, John's only concerns were earthbound ones regarding the maintenance and safety of his ranch. But as the weeks turned into months, John slowly but surely began to realize that the property that he and his wife had purchased, the dream home that he had imagined since he was a small child, was not what it had seemed. The house, the land, the air itself was literally infested with vile, violent, oppressive entities. Beings of all shapes and size, creatures from the stars, the forests, and more ethereal realms. Evil things that would stalk and torment him, his wife, and their animals in both the light of day and the dead of night. As he watched the old man walk through his gate and into oblivion, John Edmonds, whose life had been no stranger to tragedy, could never have imagined just how much blood was about to be spilled, or that the embodiment of his dream come true was about to become a living, breathing nightmare.
Oh, shit. Stardust Ranch Part 1. The man who kills monsters.
You hire somebody like that,
dude,
immediately.
I mean, so you got
Well,
you got the whole thing happening with the previous tenant shit being tossed in the pool, and then the old 1-2 punches, you get the monster
Less
guy.
than a week later.
Yeah, less than a week later. So that's that's kind of immediately fuck, dude. Like when you get a great apartment, or you buy a house, and then you have a shitty fucking neighbor,
Yeah.
or somebody moves in, and you're like, God damn it, there goes my shit.
And it's like 1-2.
Yeah.
Like move-in day,
Yeah.
there's some fucked up shit. And then less than a week later, you're like, oh, fuck. And now I got to deal with this. Now this
Yeah.
is something I have to think about.
The monster guy is the one that, because he's corporeal, he's there, he has a machete,
He's armed and he's got crazy eyes.
and he's just fucking apparently walking around.
Killing monsters.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah, but luckily he was just like, I don't think we need you here. And he's just like, You're gonna. I mean, he bum rushed the guy.
I mean, he kind of
could have
went
went
down,
worse.
Yeah, he let him down slowly. He's like, I don't think we're gonna give you a retirement party. And he's like, you're gonna regret that, and just shuffles away with his big giant machete.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are absolutely right in that there was no fanfare, but there's no way John could have known that at the time.
Yeah, no.
I can put myself in his place, as we all can, and I definitely would be thinking, this motherfucker's coming back. If he thinks he lives here, or is he going to forget that he doesn't live here a week later after a bender or who the fuck knows what, and then I'll find him in my backyard, or if I'm out doing some shit, or if my wife is, like, it had to be something that really weighed heavily on him.
No, I bet. I'm just saying that first encounter could have been worse. But no, then now that's in the back of your head though. Right?
Yeah, that's, I mean, especially because he's like armed. You're like, he's no stranger to large, sharp knives. That's not the guy that you want greeting you on your second week in your ranch.
Yeah, like where the fuck did he go? Like if there's nobody for 20 miles, like where the fuck? He's just hanging out in his fucking
like some lean-to out in the desert.
Yeah,
dude, he's got some rando cave where he's just sleeping in a fucking bed of lizards. Yeah, dude, a cactus house under a bed of lizards. He's fucking hanging out there. Went to Bane for a second.
Cloak of dead lizards.
Oh, the dead lizard cloak. Yeah, dude, you just put it on, you just fucking disappear into the desert. Like some Fremen shit.
Perfect camo.
If he walks like the Fremen. So
Gila monster slippers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude.
They're almost extinct. Don't turn them into slippers.
Yeah, white owl jackets. Yeah. Don't do that. That's bad.
I just wear rare animal clothes.
Who doesn't?
Honestly.
My bald eagle hat.
There you go. I got my bald eagle Crocs on.
I got my pangolin hoodie.
Yeah.
Fucking having a good time. Gives me erections. It's a shock.
Nice.
Too soon.
Nice.
So here's the sweetly ironic part, as no doubt anyone who's listening knows, even if you are not even a tiny bit familiar because you're listening to the Cryptonaut podcast, you understand that this proclamation that he is the one that keeps people safe from monsters and that he's going to regret it are two things that prove true.
Yeah.
Completely true.
100%.
I mean, obviously I explicitly stated it in the end too, but you would have known it anyway. Because of fucking course. It's Twilight Zone as shit though.
Yeah.
As soon as you tell the guy to go away, that's when all the bad shit happens. So
I mean, in the book, funnily enough, and I should have probably included the quote, but there's just too much. There's so many sources. I haven't had this many sources since the Mothman, Chronicles. But in the end, he's like, I should have known what was going on. I'm paraphrasing here because I don't have the book in front of me. Because it couldn't have been more clear if an old man was telling me not to go to Camp Blood that I had things to dread in my near future. Literally using a Friday the 13th reference.
Oh, man.
So I was like, I could appreciate that. He's a guy after my own heart in that respect. Like, Jesus Christ, it's like a horror film trope.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, when the old dude tells you something, you got it, it's like, okay, let's figure this out. Like, what do you need to do to accomplish your task of killing monsters, and how can I help?
Yes.
Maybe that's a different tact.
And I've heard him say too that, not only did he, would he have hired him and picked his brain and seen, because there's not going to be a ton of answers. There will be a ton of answers. Lots of things are going to be revealed, but the exact nature of, what he was doing on the ranch and how some of it will become clear soon enough, but definitely that guy would have been worth talking to.
Yeah.
For what little he could have probably offered in terms of sage answers.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe the Luke Air Force people, and who knows what weird connection they had. We'll get into that a little bit later.
I mean, plus, you got your wife who's like fucking FBI, man.
Yeah, that's
she's
true.
a clerk, but it don't matter. She has fucking
She's
friends
connections,
there.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Shit.
Yeah.
They maybe could have done some work to track him down. I don't know, but you'd still like to know, were they keeping him on board just to keep the property clean while they were away, doing whatever they were doing at the Air Force base? I don't know. All of this is going to shape up. This is just the taste. Obviously, a lot of background. A little bit of an eerie thing with the furniture in the pool. Could have been corporeal, could have been non-corporeal, could have been poltergeisty. We don't know. And they never find out. And then this guy, again, definitely not a paranormal thing. So in this episode, we literally have nothing paranormal happening. It's all set up. But oh my God, the deluge of batshit is on the horizon.
Nice.
Yeah, this is the first act of Poltergeist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, this would be,
totally.
Flawless cinema. And this is something that I would say, and I think Mark is going to love me forever for saying this out loud. If I were casting this movie, besides as aforementioned Sam Elliott as the grizzled loner in a cameo, I think I would get Nick Cage to play John Edmonds.
Yeah, dude. totally see this. Like what he did with like Mandy or like Color Out of Space.
Color Out of Space, exactly.
Yeah, oh my God, he would be fucking perfect. And we need to make this happen, dude. You got Hollywood connections.
I have some.
Talk to your friends. Be like, dude, I got this idea for a movie with Nick Cage. They're going to be like, sold.
I wonder who owns the rights to Stardust Ranch, the incredible true story.
Shit. Dude, if you
Google it.
Oh, there's a bunch of strikes and shit happening right now with SAG-AFTRA, right? With
Bitch,
the actors
I'm not in any
We're
union.
union strong, dude. You can't. Don't be a scab. Union strong.
I can write my own screenplay.
Hold their ideas. Hold the union line.
Oh, goddamn. All right, I'm sorry. Turn of the century fucking Mark stores. I'm pro-union. I just don't happen to belong to one, and I know how to write a screenplay, but fine, I'm a scab now.
Yeah.
I didn't say you were a scab. I'm just saying we have to hold this idea until that strike is over, and then we can hit it hard.
To all our SAG friends out there, we support you.
Yes,
that's
100%.
legit.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
sure.
Screen Actors Guild, Screenwriters Guild, all you motherfuckers.
That's right.
Hold strong. Don't let AI replace you.
No, fuck no.
It's time for you, not the machines.
That's right. God damn it. We're going to Sarah Connor this shit.
Human-centric.
But before that, come back next week for part 2 of Stardust Ranch.
Before all
part
that.
2. Before we go full Sarah Connor, come back next week. Check it out. Stardust Ranch, part 2. Thank you all so very much for joining us for Stardust part 1, The Man Who Kills Monsters, episode 300. So fucking awesome. So stoked. Thank you all for all your support and listening. It's so fucking awesome.
Can't believe it.
So excited
Honestly,
that we made it this far. It's so cool.
It's been such a joy. What a journey. We've met some of the most incredible people, and I can't thank you all enough.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And Robert, before we close this out, we have some Patreon shout-outs to do for the good folks over there at patreon.com/Cryptonaut podcast.
Waking Oni.
Oh, Waking Oni, what's up? Thank you so much.
Kelly Hoffbecker.
Hell yeah, Kelly, thank you.
Theo.
What up, Theo?
Steve Grotzinger.
Thank you, Steve.
Crystal Davies.
Hell yeah, Crystal.
Robert A. Walsh.
That's our boy, Bobby Walsh.
Bobby Walsh.
That's our dude, man.
Bobby
I just think I saw him last week, actually. So I'm gonna grab him and be like, yo, man, thanks so much for the support, dude.
Hell yes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, dude. Quang Chow.
Thank you, Quang.
No, we debated on this one, so we're going to go with Cian and Alan.
Cian and Alan. And actually, Alan is Cian's father. So that's we have a whole duo here listening to the show, which is super awesome, man. Imagine listening to a podcast with your pop. That's fucking dope.
That is super dope.
I think my son started listening to our podcast.
Oh, did he have to sneak it?
No,
have you expressly forbidden?
No, I can't do that because I would be a fucking hypocritical piece of shit if I did.
That's true.
Although I may have put him on the Discord. That's just like, there you go, buddy. Enjoy the Discord. But yeah, Cian and Alan, that's awesome. You got a whole father thing happening there. Super dope. Thank you both for your support. And I'm glad y'all can listen to the show and talk about it together.
And being as you're Welsh, first off, awesome. Secondly, if we brutally mispronounce your names, let us know.
Yeah.
There's a real chance of that. In any language, there's a real chance of that.
Cian and Alan. Hopefully we got it.
And let's round this out with the Squonk Fucker 5000.
No, is that like a new sex toy where you fuck a squonk?
I guess.
That's scary because that thing just cries.
What I don't want
That's
exactly
depressing.
Is a whole, actually, now that I say it, I do want it. I want some very talented artist out there to make a whole catalog of sex toys specifically geared towards lumberjack monsters.
Okay. All right.
And that old-timey, fucking hand-drawn, pre-J.C. Penney catalog, whatever came on the Pony Express.
Oh, yeah. With
the Wells Fargo type bullshit.
Oh, man. We had artists slaving over fucking illustrations all day long. But here's a hammer. And just, there you go. And then
just the dirtiest sex toys for lumberjack monsters.
Dirty sex toys. There you go. Thank you, the Squonk Fucker 5000. We appreciate it. Robert, we got a correction to do. Sarah Stevenson. I believe Robert may have said Stephenson, but it's
PH
Sarah.
Just throwing me off.
Sarah Stevenson. Thank you so much for your continued support. And,
thank you, Sarah.
If we fuck your name up, some people leave us a message like, haha, you totally fucking suck and can't say my name. Don't worry about correcting it. Love you guys. Or if you want us to correct it, whatever.
We'll do it.
Let us know. Let us know what you need.
I guess Stephen King taught me nothing.
No.
But I did read his name as Stephen King for, I guess, many months before I saw him on TV.
Oh, really?
Well, what the fuck?
Okay.
You just see him in a bookstore.
Yeah, I get it. Stephen King.
True.
That's,
It's okay.
That's what happens.
I kind of would expect that from me.
When I see...
I hold you in higher regard.
When I see the name Stephanie, I don't go, hey, Stephanie. I just... So you never know. The PH can be sneaky.
Okay. The sneaky PH. I like it. So there you have it. Thank you all so very much. The Instas and the Twitters and the Face. Oh, it's no longer Twitter. It's X.
Oh.
I woke up this morning and my Instagram or my Twitter app was replaced with X.
The unnamed?
I don't know. It's
the unknown quantity?
Twitter is called X. I mean,
it's Elon Musk. I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
is this
whatever.
imploding as quickly as it seems?
I think he's going to bury it, and then it's just going to be a write-off because he never wanted to begin with.
I really think Chris is
Remember?
on to it. He's just going to.
I think he might have signed some papers he wished he hadn't or done something and then had to go through the $44 billion, but you're right. It's better as a
they forced
write-off.
him to buy it, and I was just like, I don't want to do it.
If you fucking run that into the ground and you just like write it off, that's a huge fucking write-off.
Oh, my
Where he's
God.
like, I'm going to go buy more rockets. See you later. Or find something else to fucking
He's
ruin.
an asshat, but he's probably going to get us to Mars.
We actually, our Twitter account got temporarily suspended.
Oh, what did we do?
I wrote a tweet back to somebody because the boys over at Last Podcast on the Left just did the Mothman Redux Part 1 and Part 2. So somebody like mentioned like, oh, the Cryptonaut podcast did this. And I was like, oh, that's so awesome. I can't wait to hear, their new take on it and whatever. And I wrote, hail yourself. Because that's what the Last Podcast says is hail yourself, hail me, hail Geen, Magustalations. So I wrote, hail yourself. And it all of a sudden clipped everything that I wrote, locked the account, and was like, this is self-harm, blah, 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 blah. When I said hail yourself, it thought it said hang yourself.
Oh, my.
It's so fucking dumb.
So dumb.
And our account got locked up for like a day, and then I fucking got it unlocked.
You'd think a simple spell check would be within the purview.
How did it think
that hail was hang? I have no idea.
I mean, hail's a word.
Hail was hail Satan. What, hang Satan? Like what the fuck? Like, but I think I said hail yourself. It picked it up as being like I was trying to tell someone to commit self-harm. They gave me a bunch of links to like reach out and talk to people if I was having problems and shit. So it was not betterhelp.com/hellerspace though, which I thought was pretty fucked up on X's part, but whatever. That's fine.
So that's also a platform we're on now.
Yeah, Threads. We're on Threads. We're gonna wait and see what happens over there. It's Instagram's version of Twitter. There's a lot of social medias, man, and like just go to Instagram. It's easiest. We're there. We're all hanging out. I'm tagging you guys and shit and sending you stuff. So check it out there. We appreciate it. We got merch. We got hellerspace.com. We got, which is TeePublic, and of course we have CryptonautMerch.com, which is crowd-made exclusive. As I mentioned earlier in the show, we do have a new design coming up. Robert sent me a overwhelmingly positive approval, so we're going to see what Christopher thinks about it, and we'll have that shirt up allegedly soon.
Yes, indeed.
We'll see. I just got to order test prints and ship up. No big there. So yeah, there you have it. Thank you all so very much. Before we leave,
I was about to say. Let's hit the brakes here.
We have a super, super huge shout out because we recently were gifted a book collection from a listener. These books belong to her father, Ron Novak, and our listener, Kathy Novak, hooked us up with his collection, and it is by far one of the coolest selection of paranormal books. Like when she opened the box, my exact words were, holy shit.
Yeah, it's fucking incredible.
It is fucking awesome.
Like so many books that I've wanted to get, so many books I've never even heard of, which makes it even sweeter.
Yep.
I haven't even barely been able to like seriously go through. I mean, I've looked at all the covers and titles, obviously, and basked in the glory of it, but just rare editions of things, just an amazing collection. Her father clearly had amazing taste in paranormal mayhem. It's something that's
100%.
Right up our alley.
Yep.
It is not only going to be a fantastic resource for future episodes, but I mean, it's a real honor to be able to carry on Mr. Novak, Ron Novak's legacy and be able to integrate it as part of the library. And it's a real honor. So we wanted to thank Kathy Novak, his daughter, for thinking of us, passing it on, and trusting us basically with this important legacy. It really means a lot, and it's just, I mean, I was like a kid on Christmas,
dude. As soon as she opened up from the trunk of her car and she showed me the box, I'm like, oh my God, like this is Rob's Christmas. And what it was super cool is I got to meet Kathy face to face, person to person, in the rain, in a Target parking lot. And we got to talk and chat and hang out, and she was super fucking cool, and it was so awesome. And it was like the best Target trip ever. I was talking to Kathy. I went to Target. I found a bunch of toys and shit I wanted. I was like, oh, this is my best day ever. I was so fucking excited. I had to talk to an awesome listener, get a bunch of super dope books. And I got the Ted Cord fucking Target exclusive Beetle action figure. I was fucking so excited about that.
Right on.
Cool, like fucking turtle
Blue
toys
Beetle.
and shit. It was a fucking great day. I mean, I got to come home and get you. I'm like, oh my God, Rob, there's books.
Oh, dude.
Books. It was awesome. It was so much fun. So
it was
Kathy,
fantastic.
Thank you so much, Kathy. We appreciate it. Holy shit. And she's local, so hopefully we'll be seeing her, sooner than later. And yeah, there you have it. Thank you all so very much. We'll be talking to you soon.
See you in 301.
I'm pointing my finger at
Outta
everybody.
here.
The party continues.
I'm talking to you soon. I'll talk to you right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do it.
Talk to me.
I am.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, it's finger dads right here.
Wow.
Dad finger.
Yeah.
It's actually, I'm sweaty. I'm just really sweaty.
Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah, it's super hot.
It's a little hot.
Is this my first episode with my new? No, this is not my first.
No,
episode.
dude, your tooth has been
week
around.
you
No,
had it.
last week was a Patreon only. Remember, there was no 300 because the research got fucked. This is my official first episode
Well, pod,
with
yes,
the tooth.
yes.
Yeah. Shit. I'm used to it now.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, everything's good.
If you really want to hear the lowdown and the trials and tribulations of adjusting to a new tooth, join Patreon.
Yeah.
Damn, went out to the $1 and the $5.
Sadly, that might be the biggest inducement we've ever given people to join
Listen to
Patreon.
Mark bitch about his new tooth.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was pathos, dude.
Oh,
It was
God.
Shakespearean.
Dude, I'm a man out of
Forgot
time.
how to live. I don't know. Like
I really do.
I don't know who
Me,
I am. I'm like, well, yeah.
I finally am comfortable chewing gum. It took me like a week.
So you don't
to
look
get
into
there.
a mirror and see a stranger anymore?
No, now I just see me. I see the mark that I want to be.
The new Mark.
There it is.
Yeah.
You say dry tooth 3 times in the mirror, and then fucking comes and
I'm
fucking
still-
kills you.
Dude, I'm still so mad about leaving my tooth behind, man. What a bummer. Son of a bitch. All right, there you have it. See you later. Bye.
Bye.